Overthinking will kill your progress and steal your joy. I'm going to explain how I avoid overthinking and how you can stop grinding your gears by just taking action. So, I was the queen of overthinking. I studied economics in college. I went to grad school and studied economics again. I would play these game theory scenarios in my head over and over again, calculating all the sequence of possible combinations of decisions and probabilities that that decision would be successful. And just, it was exhausting. It was completely debilitating. And what it meant was, even though I thought I was being clever, or I thought I was being smart by overthinking and creating all these combinations, it was actually stealing my joy and just kind of made me paralyzed in a way. So, I started to reframe how I do all of this. You know, it really, overthinking is very natural. I feel like most of the time we want to keep ourselves safe. We want to prevent overthinking by delaying decisions because it feels risky or it kind of puts us in a vulnerable position. And I love the saying, it goes, what you resist persists. So when we are trying to make a decision, but we're like overthinking something instead because we don't want to make the decision or we want to push it down the road, like that decision to not make a decision is still a decision. But it actually makes the situation worse because we're resisting it. Simply because we're resisting it, it's going to persist and it's going to make it worse. So this video is going to walk you through my framework of how to get from that fucked up, super overthinking, not taking any action, to taking action, taking any kind of action confidently, and then moving forward with momentum. If you don't want to take notes, then download my free business blueprint. This is where I share all these frameworks, all these step-by-step tips and strategies so that you can go further, faster in your business. The link is going to be below, so you can grab that real quick. Okay, so let's dive into the framework. I think the most important thing that we want to talk about here is like, why are we overthinking in the first place? And if we're real with ourselves, if we kind of like can be completely brutally honest, most of the time it's going to be a combination of fear. You're going to be afraid of failure. You're going to be scared of what others are going to think about you. We can also be really like weirdly scared of the good things that can happen. We can be scared of, well, if this actually happens, what am I going to lose over here? Or, we'll be playing through all these scenarios. We can even be scared of our own potential. Like, what if I did actually fucking do it? Then I'd be accountable and like I'd be seen and I'd be listened to. Like, that's fucking scary shit too. So then from there, we want to be like, okay, so when we have that fear, we can kind of go into that fight, flight, freeze reaction. So the fight is where you confront it. So it's like, oh, you have to make a decision. Well, I don't want to fucking make a decision. Go away. Like, go away, world. I'm not waking up today. Too hard. The next one's going to be flight. So this is where we avoid the situation. Maybe, we'll avoid that person that we have to make a decision with or that we have to tell something to. We're going to avoid the behavior and pretend it's not there. The other thing is we're going to freeze. So this is where we're just like, oh, I don't know. And you might even say things like, I don't know, I'm not sure, like, go talk to so and so. So these are all the little reactions that we can go into when we're overthinking. And often my version of overthinking is like a script that I play in my head where I go, shit, I have so much to do. How the fuck am I going to do all of this? I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do all of this. It's so scary. It's so overwhelming. Looking at my calendar, spiking the cortisol, getting really freaked out. And then I play like situations in my head of like different ways I'm going to do it and my to-do list. And I kind of spiral from there. So another way that we can get into this state where we're just like overthinking, replaying, just having this mental overload is when we're in like a very low vibrational state. Okay. So this is where we've had very little sleep. We've probably burnt out, our adrenals might just be like so overloaded that we just cannot think clearly and have that clarity of wanting to move forward with ease. You know, another way that we can be in a low vibe state is if someone's knocked you off your center and like said something that was really hurtful, or you're not quite feeling like balanced. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. So all of these states can help us lead to overthinking because we're just not feeling confident. We're just not feeling in a great place right now. But the second thing that we want to be doing here when we have this state of overthinking is we're typically following like a way of what we think we should be doing. So you just want to forget everything that you think you should be doing at that point in time. Just say fuck it. Forget about this overthinking, forget about the spiral that you're in. Just step away from it for a second and do something fun for a change just for the sake of it. So what this looks like in my business is if I'm sitting here and I'm, maybe debating some content planning and I'm like, fuck, is this topic better or is this topic better? Like what would my audience like better of? I'm like, fuck it. You know what? I'm just gonna go get some sunshine, or I'm just gonna go plant my feet in the grass. I'll have a cup of tea, maybe I'll even go for a walk. I take myself out of that situation to prevent the fucking spiral that we all have and that we all know of. Because the most important thing is keeping yourself in a state of like being well, being happy, feeling safe, because that is the place that's going to help us make really, really good decisions. So stand back, just pause from the situation, change your state of mind, change the place that where you're acting from. Like, get the fuck out of the room, go somewhere pretty. And know that when you do this, like, it's going to be okay. Um, and the third thing is just do one thing that changes your momentum. So I love the question here. I asked myself, if none of this mattered, what would I do? Like if I was not worried about the consequences of this decision or of this action, if none of that, anything down the line, what would I do right now that would like be aligned and feel good to me? And most of the time, that is what I do. If not exclusively, all of the time, that is what I do. You just need to do one thing, okay? Do one thing that is satisfying and for you in the moment. Take that analogy of eating that elephant one bite at a time. Just chunk it down to create momentum. So sometimes I will look at my calendar for the week and I'll be like, fuck, this is really intense. This is like a lot. I've signed up for a lot of things and I'm accountable to a lot of people right now. So I'll just be like, you know what? Fuck the whole week. Like that, the whole week doesn't matter. Like what I'm doing in the next hour, let me focus on that. Let me just get momentum in that first hour and see what I'm doing and kind of just get that movement. Just do something, do anything. And then the fourth part of this, to overcome this overthinking spiral that can really kill your momentum in your business and in your life, is knowing that nothing is ever lost, okay? So even if we do make a decision one way or the other, we're overthinking what we're going to tell someone, we're overthinking what we're going to do next in our business, understanding that nothing is ever lost and really no decision is ever going to be as bad as you think. You can always go back and change. You can always go back and tweak. You can always go back and say, hey, to that person, hey, you know what? I changed my mind. We were zigging and now we're zagging. And that is totally fine. If it is a really high stakes decision, then I think that is just fucking life. At the end of the day, we all make mistakes. At the end of the day, it's gonna be okay. It's just a matter of like, okay, if that decision did not go the way that I wanted, how do we tweak and what lessons can we learn from it? So I want to tell you now why this works. So it gets you to really understand What is driving you, and what are you so damn afraid of that you're overthinking over and over and over again? It also works because it's going to get you into that higher vibrational state where you can make decisions with clarity, you can move with confidence, and you can really start to lean into that alignment instead of moving from a place of fear and scarcity and just resistance, which is gross and not a fun place to be. It also helps you gain that traction when you need it most. So you can really take a decision, any decision, and roll the throttle on what it is that lights you up and make that right next move in your business. Overthinking will kill your progress and completely steal your joy. But action, even if it's messy, even if it's uncertain, even if it's literally like the smallest, itty bittiest little baby step you can think of, that is where the momentum lives. That's how you're going to build confidence, clarity, and actually get the results that you want in your business, but also in life as well. So take a breath. Pick one thing that you're going to do to stop this overthinking, and we're just going to move forward with it. We're going to execute with it. You can always change your plan, you can always pivot, you can always do a U turn, but you can't steer a bike that isn't moving. You need that momentum first. If you want this entire framework and strategy, then download my free business blueprint guide. It's where I show all the frameworks, all the tips, and the step-by-step guides to help you go further, faster in your business. So click the link below to upshift into the business fast lane. Keep going, babe. You've got this.